Had to get my camera situated, so I'm gonna give y'all a little time to come in. How's everybody doing? My name is Coach Michael, and if this is your first time to the channel, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell, select all, so you don't miss any of the videos. And on this channel, I help you live with intention and purpose. That is for you that are new here. That's for those of you that are new here. For the returning subscribers, those who are watching this video, you always watch my videos. I greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all for your support. It truly means a lot because without you all, I would not be doing this whatsoever. So I had to get off the live and come back on because I kind of had some things going on with the camera. Had a lot of background noise. I'm in my truck right now, about to get ready to go upstairs to my family. So I'm gonna give y'all a few of my minutes, and I'm going back upstairs to my wife and my daughter so we can spend some time today. But I've been out this morning just running some errands and things like that. I got a couple of ventures that I'm doing this year, and I had some stuff that I had to do for one of my companies that I'm building right now. And as I began to come back home and I'm headed home, a lot of times I really like to ride in silence. Or sometimes I just put me some good worship music on. I just kind of sit there and just meditate on the goodness of the Lord and all that God has done. I know many of you seen my last video where I talked about how to have a heart of gratitude. And that's one of the things that I often do is just surround myself with positivity. I listen to worship music. I like to read my Bible. I like to read devotions because those are the things that help me keep a heart of gratitude. Those are the things that help me to stay grounded in this chaotic world that we live in. There are so many things to distract us. There are so many things that we can be focused on, but those are some of the things that truly help me to stay motivated and focused. So, hey, how you doing, Coach? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, like I said, I'm not going to be on here before you long, but I just have an important message that I want to get out. So, back to the story. As I was, headed home or whatnot, I just began to kind of think about my life in general. My life in general, how I have a lot of things going. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Sometimes I can get. I'm not gonna say anxious, but sometimes I just I get in a hurry, I get in a rush. I begin to kind of rush myself. And I thought about that today and I was like, you know what? I'm like, man, I really just need to begin to slow down. I never want to get to a place in my life where I feel like that, God is not the forefront of everything that I'm doing. Not saying that He's not the forefront of everything that I'm doing, but I don't want to get to the point where I start to feel depleted. I start to feel drained. I start to feel like that I'm beginning to be, just overwhelmed by everything that I have going on. And that's one indicator right there that I need to plug back into those things that I was telling y'all about. I need to make sure I plug back into worship. I need to make sure that I plug back into my devotionals a little bit harder. I need to make sure that I read my word a little bit more. And that's just one of my indicators. And so I was just thinking about how when we get in a rush, we need to really slow down and learn how to breathe. Learn how to breathe and take your time. You're not in competition with anybody. You're not trying to outdo anybody. If you're trying to do anything, you're trying to please God and you're trying to be a better version of yourself. You're trying to overcome things that you once thought that you couldn't overcome to begin to see a new life as you didn't know it could exist. And that's one thing that you should always strive for and always stay focused on. But sometimes, once again, we can get sidetracked. With this day and age that we live in, we have social media. That's a huge distraction if we don't utilize it the right way. We're seeing how everybody's living, and they want to flash the money, they want to flash the cars, they want to flash the house, and all of these things that genuinely don't matter. They don't matter if there is not a true, if there's not a true gratitude for it. Yeah, you might have went through some things before. Now you got these things, but I don't consider that to be humble, flashing money and stuff like that and doing this and doing that. And they might say, well, hey, I work hard for this. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what all I had to put up with. That's beside the point. You still have other people who are watching you. And we have to always make sure that we're setting an example for those who might be looking in on our lives. And so I like to be one that I like to make sure that I'm practicing what I preach. I like to practice what I'm telling people. I'm not one person that's gonna be like, do as I say and not as I do. Now I want you to follow the full example of everything that I do. And it's so easy to follow, the current trends. It's very easy to do that. But sometimes when you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, you're scrolling on Instagram and you're finding everybody's life, and it seems like their life is just a little bit more interesting. It seems like that their relationship is just a little bit more better. It seems like that they're just living a little bit better than you are. But you don't know possibly all that they're going through behind closed doors. You have no idea what they're going through. So now you're making your life about their life. Now you're comparing your beginning to their middle. Now you're beginning to compare the work that you put in for a month to the work they put in for 10 years. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's good to just stop and breathe. You know, it's scientifically proven, and I strongly believe it, that doing breathing exercises for 1 minute, taking deep breaths for 1 minute, can help you have more clarity. It lowers the anxiety. It also allows more oxygen to get into your bloodstream. It has just so many benefits. So just learn how to stop and breathe. When you find yourself, you're finding yourself, you're trying to get to that next paycheck. You're trying to figure out how to make this next buck. You're trying to figure out, what should I do with this business and that business? All that stuff is fine. But it's a difference between trying to do it in your own strength and doing it with God gracing you and Him giving you strength. He says, my grace is sufficient. That means His grace never runs out. God says, my grace is sufficient. His grace will never run out. And so this is me talking from my heart to your heart. I don't know what your current situation may be. I don't know what you may be going through. I don't know what you may be dealing with mentally. But whatever it is, give it to God and hold His hand and walk with God. Walk with God. That's all you have to do. Take your time and just walk with God. Everything that you're desiring, believe me when I tell you, God put that in your heart because He wants to give you those things and He wants your heart to align with it. But your motives have to be right. You have to make sure that you want to achieve those things and get those things for the right reasons. And watch what I tell you. Everything is going to begin to unfold and open up for you. So I really didn't want to be on long, but I just felt like that somebody needed to hear me talk about slowing down. Your mental health is so important. If you need to push away from Facebook for a little while, push away from it. I pushed away from Facebook for about a month, and it literally changed my life. I started doing this in the replacement of that. I started to figure out how I can better myself and do personal development in my own life outside of that. You see what I'm saying? I exchanged the time. Instead of giving my time to Facebook, I gave time to books. I gave more time to personal development. You need to push away from it, push away from it. Instagram, any social media, just push away from it. You might think of it as a hard, tough task, but believe me when I tell you, it is not a tough task. Or if you are a person that doesn't feel like you need to push away from social media, just begin to utilize it for a better purpose, for a better cause. Be more intentional about the people that you follow. There are a lot of people that are on your timeline right now, possibly, that really do not need to be there. Everything that they post every other day is something negative. They got something to say about this and something to say about that. There's always something negative. And every now and then they might post a quote or they might share a little scripture or something like that. But still and yet, what's the use of that if you're gonna go right back to posting the same thing? You see what I'm saying? So you gotta begin to even weed some of that stuff out because your mental health matters. Your mental health matters. While you on this road to greatness and you're trying to get to that next level in your life, you're gonna have to make some decisions. And some of the people that you might be friends with on social media, they might see you not liking their posts like you once did. They might see you not following them anymore on social media. But guess what? You don't owe them an explanation. They might DM you and say, I know that you weren't following me on social media anymore. What's going on? You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to. Or if you decide to, you can. But 9 times out of 10, they're not looking at the reason why you possibly did it. They're not looking at they just post negative stuff all day. They're just looking at, oh, you unfollowed me. That's what they're doing. So don't worry about that. Keep moving forward. Keep bettering yourself. And when it comes down to your mental health, when it comes down to your mental health, make sure you do the necessary things for your mental health and learn to slow down and breathe. Guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, you can also find me on Instagram at Michael D. Benefield. I'm going to go ahead and open up for a couple of questions real quick. I know I've seen a couple of people comment. So I want to first and foremost say thank you for those who have commented, for those who have came on to the live chat. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Junius Seister. Thank you so much for joining. If you're not a member of the channel, you can join the channel for $1.99. I got some great things coming up for my members only. I will be starting back to have those lives. I may go live tomorrow on Sunday to have another live. We may discuss mental health. We may discuss a few things concerning on how to move forward in life, because we know 2020 was crazy and we know 2021 is going to be a better year. So if there be no questions, I'll go ahead and get off here. And I hope you guys have an awesome and blessed day. So remember, until next time, that you were created to be more than average and you were created to be dope. Y'all go out and do something awesome and learn how to breathe and just work on your mental health, because God cares about it. I care about it. And it should be number one priority in your life. So until next time, fam, peace and blessing. See y'all next one. Peace.